was like, oh my gosh, I started freaking out a little bit. Hello, everyone. As you may know, each Sunday I do a weekly card reading, and previously the card reading was posted in the Facebook group Healing House Women. Well, I've now been posting it on all platforms so everyone has access to the readings. What I would typically do is on a Wednesday, I would check in with the group and just say, hey, how are you doing with the angel guidance that was posted? Because we're all looking for answers, and then we receive guidance from the angels. And the thing is, do you actually act on it? So anyhow, the reason I'm popping on here today is to see how you're doing now that you have access to the readings. How are you doing with the guidance that was posted on Sunday? In case you missed it, the guidance that was posted was about being vulnerable. And being vulnerable, it can mean putting yourself out there even though you may feel scared or you may feel like you're not ready. It's just an exposed feeling. And for me, what was coming up when I did that reading was be vulnerable with putting yourself out there. Maybe you have artwork that you want to share with your community, with just the world, or you have special projects, or maybe you want to start a business and offer your service, and you might feel a little scared or not ready. And it's usually not about waiting until you feel ready or confident. Confidence usually comes from doing. And when you put yourself out there, even though you may feel vulnerable, it can actually open up doors for you. So ask yourself, in what way can you be vulnerable this week, allowing more doors to open for you, allowing opportunities to deepen your confidence? So here's a quick story. When I first moved to Vegas, that was probably about 12 years ago, I think, I met this woman in the workplace, and she was going through a divorce, and we became friends because that was a common experience that we had. I had been down that road before, and I thought, well, if you need someone to talk with, I'll be a listening ear. I can be a shoulder for you. So we started hanging out, doing things together. Again, we became really good friends. And I remember us going shopping or something one day. We were headed back to the car, and I think I misplaced my keys or something. I was like, oh my gosh, I started freaking out a little bit and realized that whatever it is I was looking for, I had placed it on top of the car. And that's not something I normally do. And I just remember her saying to me in that moment, she started laughing, and I could feel this little resentment like creeping in, like, is she making fun of me, or why is she laughing? This isn't funny. And I remember her saying, allow yourself to be vulnerable. And that might have been my first introduction to vulnerability. And at the time, I was working with a leadership training organization. And, it's one of the things I learned there, that vulnerability is a strength of leaders. It's not a weakness. So again, think about how can you allow yourself to feel vulnerable, just to put yourself out there, and again, open up doors. Opportunities may come your way. It's probably a personal growth lesson for you in terms of vulnerability. So what I will do next is to pull an affirmation card. And in the affirmation, what the intention I will set is, what affirmation card, what's the ideal affirmation card for you to receive right now that will tie in to this message of vulnerability? So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle and treat it like a reading and see what comes up. So let's see what we've got here. And the message is, I release all criticism. Now, what this means for me, how this card is resonating with me, is maybe you are creating your artwork or you're doing your projects and you're so critical of it, and you are just afraid to put it out there because you think other people are going to criticize it. You're going to get feedback that you don't like. And believe me, you will probably get feedback that you don't like, regardless of how confident you feel with your work. So I really love this message and how it's tying in with the message of vulnerability right now. Release the criticism of your work and allow yourself to believe that it can be well received by others. Again, it may mean being vulnerable with something that you've created, or maybe it's a service that you're offering. Maybe it's a performance that you might be doing. Maybe you might be in the performing arts. Release all criticism and allow yourself to share your gifts and your talents with the world.